Are you diving into object-oriented programming in Python and feeling a bit lost with the loth repr function? You're not alone. Today, we're going to clarify how to properly implement this repr function, especially when it comes to inheritance. I totally get it. Understanding how to inherit methods like repr can be tricky, especially when you want your child classes to have their own unique representations. This is a common question among Python developers. Here's the specific question we're addressing today. One user asked about the best way to implement the repr function in a parent class and whether to override it in child classes. They provided an example of a parent class repr function and wanted to know if a more generic approach would be better. So what's the difference between these two approaches? The first method uses a hard-coded class name, while the second method dynamically retrieves the class name. This can make your code more flexible and easier to maintain, especially as your project grows. Stay with me, because at the end of this video, I'll share a best practice that can save you time and headaches when working with class representations in Python. To address the user's question about the repr function with inheritance, we will first look at the parent class implementation. The user has provided a method that returns a string representation of the object. Next, the user suggests a more generic approach that utilizes the class name dynamically. This can be beneficial for child classes, as it automatically adapts to the class name. Now let's discuss the advantages of using the generic approach. By using self-class name, the user can avoid rewriting the repr method in every child class, which promotes code reuse. However, there are cases where overriding the repr method in child classes may be necessary. If a child class has additional attributes, it might be beneficial to provide a more detailed representation. In conclusion, the user can choose the generic approach for simplicity and maintainability, but should consider overriding the method in specific cases where more detail is needed. Fun fact, did you know that the repr function is often referred to as the official string representation of an object? It's like your class's business card. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. This user emphasizes that using the class name dynamically in the score repr function is not just acceptable, but practical for most projects. They highlight that this is a textbook example of effectively utilizing class inheritance, allowing for code reuse from superclasses. Here's the best practice I promised. Always consider using the dynamic approach with self-class name for your repr functions. It keeps your code clean and adaptable as your project evolves. And there you have it. You now have a clearer understanding of how to implement the core repr function with inheritance in Python. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more programming tips and tricks.